All right. Hello, everyone. This is Jeremy, and I am back again to share with you all my board game for assignment part one. So, this is all a work in progress, but let's get into it. So, really quickly, the title of my game is called Escape Dead End Asylum. So, as you can already kind of tell, it's going to take place in a haunted asylum. So, really quickly, in the executive summary, I just have that you and a group of friends will take turns rolling dice, drawing cards, dealing damage, and facing ghostly foes as you advance through the board game in search of the exit. You must get to the exit with your sanity intact. If you lose all of your sanity, you unfortunately lose the game. You do not make it to the exit, and you are doomed to wander the halls forever. A little bit about the game. Here's a quick overview. So the game is playable among 2 to 4 characters, and it's going to be classified as a psychological thriller. So it's also going to be a survival tabletop RPG game that you can play through and kind of follow along the story. The audio and visual elements that I am going for are very haunting type tones. Something like in the background that you're hearing right now is something that I want incorporated in the game, with audible laughs and screams from the patients that you will encounter. Visual elements are going to be very grungy, darker elements, something to really add to the effect of an old abandoned building, just very deteriorated. For the target demographic, I have ages 13 and plus. I feel like this game, it's definitely going to be a creepier vibe, but nothing too scary that 13 and above can't handle. I think for younger ages, it's just not going to be really suitable. The winning condition that I have set here is obviously to advance through to the exit. So you're going to play throughout the board, you're going to draw cards, you're going to get to the exit and escape the asylum with at least one sanity token in your inventory. I did write a little summary of the story here. Essentially, there's this asylum that is rumored to be haunted from the Victorian era that closed down. There were tales of murderous patients, deranged hospital keepers, and ghostly events that swarmed through your city, as urban legends often do. So you and your friends, after hearing these tales, you grew curious and decided to take a visit to the asylum, and you successfully break in. The ground collapses under you, and after being unconscious for a couple hours, you all awaken as patients in the asylum. It is your goal to essentially escape the asylum with your sanity intact, but as you work your way throughout the game, you can lose those, and you will be trapped if you lose all of your sanity tokens. Here's a list of characters that I compiled. So I came up with Gus Turner, who is the brains. Each character will have specific traits to them that allow them little buffs throughout the game. So for instance, Gus, he is the brains, so he can essentially hold on to 2 item cards and use them at any time of his choosing, as he draws them throughout the game from the chance spaces. That just leads him to be very forward thinking. You also have Gwendy Turner, who is Gus's younger sister. She's the skeptic. She's very observant, and it allows her to be very intuitive. She can spot danger from a mile away just because of how observant she is. So, for instance, her buff is going to be if she lands on a hole, she does not fall through it, because she just walks around it instead. Something to that liking. You also have Rose Fenway, who is the brave one. She is the leader of the group in dangerous situations, and she can essentially face danger head on, such as your keepers or your patients. Then you also have Brody, who is the muscle. He is the jock of the group. He is the athletic one. He's not exactly a bookworm, but he is Brody's best friend, or Gus's best friend, and he can, for instance, outrun danger if needed. I also have a list, 2 enemies here that you will face throughout the game. So you have the Keeper. So essentially, she is a deranged Asylum Keeper whose spirit haunts the halls of the haunted building. She's very dangerous. She can deal damage to you, so you don't want to run into her. There are instances that you will see on the game board of the Keeper's quarters where you might find some interesting items. We also have the patient who you will encounter throughout the game board, who is going to be one of the foes that you will face. They can inflict damage upon you and essentially cause you to lose some of your sanity tokens. Here are the gameplay mechanics that I have set forth so far in the beginning stage. So obviously landing on a chance space is going to make you draw a chance card. This can give you different tools, different items, as I was mentioning, that Gus can hold on to. And these can assist you in your escape and even provide you some clarity or possibly sanity tokens. You also have your event spaces that you will land on, which cause you to draw event cards. These can be either good or bad instances that can either provide you good fortune or lead you further into insanity. You're also going to land on the patient spaces. So as I was mentioning before, this is going to be one of the foes you will face. If you land on this, you lose 1 sanity token because he's going to attack you. Here are some holes in the game board that I was mentioning. So, for instance, if you land on this space, you have to go wherever the arrow points you. So this could cause you to go back further and digress on the game board, making the gameplay even harder. This is one of the holes that I was mentioning that Gwendy can actually avoid. You're also going to encounter this on the game board. So I call this a sanity spin. This will be drawn from a event card. And if you land on these, a 1 or a 3, that means you have to go back that many spaces, unfortunately. Or if you land on insanity ensues, that means you actually have a moment where you can attack a team member. So one of the other players. Obviously, no effect is going to be no effect. Here's where your sanity tokens come into play. Each player starts with 5 sanity points, which are going to act as your HP, and they're going to be tracked by these tokens. You have your dice that you're going to be using, so your D4, D6, and D12, and these are all used for different elements. Your primary one that you will play with is the D6, so that way you can move that many spaces. D4s can be used to deal damage to ghosts of the keepers and patients, or even block damage. I'm still kind of working on that element as I progress throughout the game. And then you also have a D12, which will be chosen from the chance spaces. As you draw the card, you can either advance further into the game board or you will skip a turn. So here is the game board itself that I came up with. I stuck to the grid style, hopefully, and try to make these all evenly spaced. But essentially, you're starting in the middle and you're working your way through this spiral-esque type pattern. Throughout the game board, you'll see your event spaces, your chance spaces, your patients, the keeper's quarters that I was mentioning, the holes that you can fall through. Here's your spinner, and then where your events and chance cards will go. And then you also have your exit. So let's do a little gameplay really quick. So for instance, you're going to roll your D6, and you're going to move your 6 spaces. If you land on the chance space, you draw your card. You could choose, for instance, Gus can choose to hold on to this card, or he could play it. As you're moving further into the game board, you land on a patient stall. A patient attacks you. You lose 1 sanity token. If you land on an event stall, you draw your event card. For instance, here is the keeper who, if you encounter her, you have to roll a D4. The instances can change among the keepers, so it could just be she could inflict damage on you and you don't get a chance to escape. But for this specific one, I came up with even rolls, lose 2 sanity tokens, odd rolls, escape. Here's another event card that I came up with just to explain the insanity spin. So again, 1 space, 1 equals go back 1 space, 3 go back 3 spaces. Insanity ensues, deal 1 damage to a player of your choosing. And let's see. So Gus is progressing, and he falls through a hole, which puts him back at the space here that he was on. Or I guess he digressed to the game board. So each player will take turns rolling the dice to get to the exit, and as they get to the exit, they want to make sure that they have their sanity tokens intact, at least 1 to get to the exit. If you lose all of them, again, you lose the game. You are forced to wander the halls of Dead End Asylum forever. So, do you think you will escape Dead End Asylum? Let me know.